Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm just chilling in my room today. Something pretty low key, pretty chill. Playing Fallout 4 today, you know, and I have some thoughts that I kind of wanted to get off of my chest with this game because, I was looking at one of my other videos when I was like talking about Starfield or something, and I talked about Fallout 4. I said that it was like, I really like this game, and I do really like Fallout 4. Like it's one of my favorite games, honestly. Like it's not it's probably my favorite game to just sit down and play. Not really think about anything. Just kind of just kind of chilling, just taking it easy, just romping around in the Commonwealth. And I think that there is something to be said about that because I also said in that video that like New Vegas is my favorite game of all time, right? And it is. Uh New Vegas is my favorite game of all time because I think that it is one of the best attempts at creating a fictional world that is livable and breathable, like in real life, while still being fiction. I think that's a very hard quality to get right, and I think that they do a very good job at getting it right in New Vegas. Fallout 4, not so much. Fallout 4 is not very good at being a fictional world, honestly. Like, if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you want in a Fallout game, which is perfectly understandable, well, you're not going to get that with Fallout 4. It's just the truth. So like, what is Fallout 4? Because I don't think it's an RPG. I'll tell you that much. I don't think that it's an RPG because you don't really create a character with Fallout 4. You don't create a backstory for your character. There's no point. There's no support for it in the game. You're either Nate or you're Nora. And in addition to that, any ability to articulate yourself as a character, as a player in this game, is completely nullified. There is no room for expression in this game because of the 4 option dialogue system. So you are permanently locked into asking the 4 same things, with like little hints of flair, like sarcasm and stuff, but a very common criticism, like what even is sarcasm? There's many examples in the game where sarcasm is not what, people would usually agree it is. So with all that being said, I don't think that it's fair to say that Fallout 4 is a role-playing game. So like, what is it? Well, I also don't think it's fair to say it's a looter shooter, because like many like shit talkers of Fallout 4 just say it's a looter shooter, but I don't think I don't think that's accurate either. Why? Well, because the game is complex. It's more complex than that. It's more complex than like, Borderlands, where you're just constantly picking up new items and stuff, because uh you're not constantly picking up new weapons and stuff. You're not constantly replacing the weapons you have with new ones. Very regularly, you are upgrading the weapons that you already have from collecting and scavenging materials in the world, right? So like, in a way, it's a looter shooter because at the end of the day, you are the main focal point of the game is getting better equipment, enhancing your character over time, right? But there are multiple avenues through which you can achieve that. Like for example, I've done so many playthroughs of this game using different strategies. Like I've done a playthrough where I restricted myself. I said I wasn't going to pick up any weapons. I was only going to buy them. So like that forced me to basically focus on collecting caps, focusing on developing settlements to get caps for me, so then I could just go buy all of the weapon parts that I needed. Because that's the thing. In Fallout 4, you can get by, you can completely upgrade and max out your weapons that you want to, just by buying just by buying the weapons that have the mods that you want in stores and stuff. So there are avenues and there are ways of getting around that initial loop of, you know, finding new weapons and replacing the old ones you have, stuff like that. So like really, when trying to define what this game is, I think it's almost kind of its own thing. I find that it does more. It does like it basically, in my opinion, including I haven't played Starfield, but based off of what I've seen, compared to all of the games that they've done before, I think that Fallout 4 is really Bethesda's best attempt at their formula. Um, I find that like, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Like for example, I was just thinking about this. I had a playthrough where, you know, I wanted to spec into like snipers and stuff. Like I wanted to do a VATS. I wanted to do a VATS stealth sniper, or like just a stealth sniper in general. And in just like in the middle of my playthrough, I picked up a explosive combat shotgun, just off of a regular legendary. And if you know anything about Fallout 4, you know that a shotgun with an explosive legendary modifier is one of the best guns in the game. The fact that it was a combat shotgun, even better. So that alone caused me to basically kind of reorient that playthrough, kind of like reorient what I wanted to do. And it was because of one weapon that I just happened to get lucky and find in the middle of my playthrough. And you know, the legendary system gets shit on a lot, and honestly, for most of the time most of the time I think about Fallout and stuff, comparing it to like New Vegas and stuff, like I think it's kind of shit too, you know, because it's like it's a really inorganic way to like introduce, you know, new weapon mechanics and stuff. Not new weapon mechanics, just like, you know, legendaries in general, just like creme de la creme equipment, you know. It's kind of lazy. But at the same time, that randomizing factor does add something to the game, because, you know, you could be 60 hours into a playthrough playing like a VATS pistol build, like crit build, and then you end up getting like relentless on like, I don't know, like just a good pistol in that game. The point is, you could be at any point in your playthrough, and one piece of legendary equipment can completely change how you play the game. And I think that adds a lot of variability to the game that I really appreciate. Because, you know, even if you start the playthrough, even if you already have a plan in mind for how you're going to build your character for what you want him to do, like it could still end up changing. So going back to earlier, whenever I said like Fallout 4 is not really an RPG, it kind of is, you know, a little bit, because like the character building system, it has nothing to do with, you know, being a character. It has everything to do with becoming like an unstoppable murder machine, you know. I find that the perk chart itself it's fine. I think it does its job pretty well. However, I do think that New Vegas's implementation of perks and the stat system is probably way better in the end, because you end up getting perks like Slayer or Meltdown, if that's what it's called, the Plasma Spaz one or whatever, the one that like causes people to explode. Like there are some very interesting perks in that game that really push you over the top, and also they're hard to get. You have to go pretty far into a playthrough before you can even unlock those skills and those perks. So like I think that's pretty good. I think that gatekeeping the progression like that and giving you such a rewarding form of progression is really, really, really good, really well implemented, especially in that game. And I wish Fallout 4 had more elements that were that were kind of like, you know, kept away from the player, and they had to like kind of earn them. I like the start of the game. Absolutely, like okay. I haven't even talked about the story. That's because I completely disregard it every single time I play this game. Like, you really, honestly, like, I feel like there's no other way to play this game besides just not engaging with the story because, like, why would you do that to yourself? But this is a video about why I like Fallout 4. Um, I'm trying to ignore the bad stuff. But at the end of the day, designing your character, it is a different form of progression. It's much more incremental, I think. The power, like you do get power spikes. Like you get power spikes pretty much anytime you upgrade your just direct form of dealing damage. Um, but there's so many avenues for progression, whether it be your perks or the items you find or like the weapons you have, or even like new mods for weapons that you have. Like you know there's a lot of forms of progression, and that does make it pretty dynamic. But it's much like the way you progress is much more. I think like in New Vegas, it's much more deliberate, if that makes sense. Like with Fallout 4, I feel like there's enough difference in perks to where like playthroughs do feel pretty different, at least to me. Like for example, like I did like an unarmed power armor build. Um and I did like, a like I said, like like a high perception like VATS sniper. I did a crit pistol build. I've done like, heavy armor like melee builds. Like I've done like VATS like stealth blitz guys. Like there's a lot of different play styles that you could adopt in your playthrough. You can like the gameplay will feel a little bit different in my opinion. I feel like it's different enough to where, you know, it's different enough to where it matters to where like it feels different. I feel like each playthrough feels pretty good, pretty different from the last. Like I never really get too bored with making like if I were to start a new character that was using a premise I'd never done before, like I still have not used explosives very much. Like I still haven't done like uh I haven't done an automatic playthrough in a long time. I'm doing my first heavy weapons playthrough, and I'm using melee weapons in addition to it. And I'm also, but there's also different challenges you can put on yourself. Like for example, that heavy weapons and melee guy I'm playing right now. I made the stipulation for myself that I can't have a base, so I basically like focused on getting as much equipment load as possible. And if I don't have enough space in my shit, then like go to a store and sell all of it, get some caps. But still, I don't know. With Fallout 4, the map is my favorite part. Is like why I think they did such a good job with it. Um, Boston's pretty big. It's huge, actually. It's like pretty hard to explore all of it. Pretty takes a while. Um, and it's really dense. There's just shit everywhere. You can go in places everywhere. There's a ton of places that you can't eat, that there aren't even any fucking there's like a ton of places where you don't even get they're like unmarked locations, right? And they're just there, and like there are some that actually have like some content to them. So like, and there's just so many named locations in the game, and you can go into pretty much all of them, and they all are pretty complex dungeons. Like there's some really complex dungeons in here, like that one shopping mall with the death claw on top is pretty cool. That one water treatment plant where you like lower all the water, that's pretty cool. It's pretty memorable. Fucking Hardware Town, even because like the way they use scaffolding to hide all the loot's pretty interesting, pretty cool. The GNR Plaza, that's pretty dope. Like just like Gunner Central right there, it's pretty dope. Quincy, Amazing dungeon. It's massive. There's enemies everywhere. It's like multi-layered. Pretty well done. I just got blown up by a mole rat, but I didn't die, so you know, fuck him. Yeah. You know, I'm kind of just ranting at this point, but you know, it's pretty much what I always do. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll do an edited video. I don't even know if I'll keep this, but I'm just gonna keep talking. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about the style of game that Fallout 4 engages in, because you know it keeps me engaged pretty well, and I'm kind of a rat, you know, like I got rat brain. So the fact that, what the fuck? I don't mind this. I mean, they're dying and they're not killing me, so whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking steal from them. Why would I not steal from them? I don't understand. I'll take these mines too. Fuck it. You never know when you could need them. The DLC, I don't know. I think that the DLC is an interesting thing to talk about. Like, I feel like Nuka World is underdeveloped. I feel like they could have done I think they could have done more. You know, introduced maybe another park, expanded more on the whole expanded more on the whole idea of, you know, being a raider themed park, because it's like, you know, why would anyone ever go there? It's like the first question that comes to mind. It's just like not really developed well. It doesn't really justify itself enough. I don't think, like, it doesn't do enough to explain itself. So it's kind of shit. It's fun. It's different. It's like, it's cool. You know, it's like a theme park. I wouldn't have expected them to do that. It's cool. But they didn't really do they didn't do that good of a job, in my opinion. Could have done better. Far Harbor, I feel kind of mid about Far Harbor. The environment is cool. You know, honestly, the new Vegas DLC, hot take. Lonesome Road is okay. I feel like Lonesome Road does this thing where it's like the developers are kind of walking back on some of their design philosophies with the base game. It's kind of obvious. It's like, you know, the whole point was, you know, you make your character, like you decide who they're gonna be. But they kind of walked back on that in Lonesome Road. They kind of made it to where, like, you know, you do have a backstory, even if you don't want it. Because they don't really leave it in the air that Ulysses has the wrong person. Another hot take, Honest Hearts is kind of shit, just in general. Joshua Graham, he's underutilized. You know, something that kind of caught my attention with so I've always been a huge fan of those intro slides to the Fallout, especially in New Vegas with the DLCs. I love the slides in the DLCs. I love that they have them. But like with the 3 DLCs that do have them, like Dead Money and Old World Blues kind of talks about what you're getting yourself into. But Honest Hearts talks about Joshua Graham. And it's like, the DLC is not about Joshua Graham. Like, he's one of the main characters, but it's not about him. Ultimately, it's about the tribes. Or at least it's about, trying to figure out if pacifism, it's ultimately about like pacifism versus war, because that's kind of like the main decision. But it's unfocused. It's like me, bro. It's unfocused as fuck. Like, it feels like they didn't know what they wanted to do with it. It's like in all of the other ones, there's a pretty, and in all of the other DLCs, like, there's a pretty, like, it's pretty clear why you're doing what you're doing. At least, like, I mean, not on Old World Blues, but it's like that on purpose. But like everything kind of comes together near the end. It's not in like, it's kind of like it kind of comes together in the end too, in Lonesome Road. Kind of comes together in the end in Dead Money too, but Dead Money's a bit more upfront with its storytelling. Honest Hearts is kind of the odd man out in my opinion. There's nothing really, nothing really culminates. There's no, the story doesn't really go anywhere. It's like you just like get a bunch of shit so they can flee, and they might not even flee. So it's like, why'd you do all that shit anyways? It's like a waste of time. And then you just get to the end, and then you just like let him, and you just let Joshua either dome fucking salt and wounds, or you just like let him go, or you kill him. Like, it's not really, it's really anticlimactic. Like, Old World, like Honest Hearts doesn't really go anywhere at all. Like, it doesn't really do anything. And like, honestly, Honest Hearts has ended playthroughs for me. Like, there have been characters that I got pretty far with in New Vegas that I was like thinking of, I was about to beat the game with. I'd go to Honest Hearts. I'd get so fucking bored. I'd stop playing New Vegas, and then I'd like come back and like start a new character, delete the old one, just move on, forget about it. That's how boring it is. I skip Honest Hearts pretty regularly. I don't skip the other DLCs as much. I never skip Old World Blues. I never skip Lonesome Road, and then I only skip Dead Money probably like 50% of the time. Like one in every two playthroughs, I'll play Dead Money, which is pretty good for me at least. Like, but like Honest Hearts, boring. I really, honestly do like, Dead Money's my favorite of the DLC in New Vegas. For real. I think it does atmosphere better than the other two. Because it really feels, because like you always have, like, there's like threats everywhere. Like the only safe space is really the fountain, which is a cool feeling. It feels like you're always venturing out into the unknown whenever you're going away from the fountain. And the characters are all excellent. They're all very complex. I was thinking about doing a like intersection of MBTI and Fallout, because I like both of those things, and I can't really, I don't know, I feel like no one's talked about that. That's pretty cool. I feel like I have some thoughts, but I feel like the characters in New Vegas, I mean Dead Money, are handled very well. All of them, every single person you talk to, all of the characters that you can learn about in the notes and the audio logs and the lore, basically, all of them are incredible. Sinclair, Vera Keys, Mr. Yesterday, like all of them are sick. Like the fact that that all of the technology from, okay, so honestly, one thing I don't really like, I don't like how basically all of the all of the shit in the DLCs that are even a thing are just like hand waved, oh, they created it in Big Mountain. I don't really like that. I feel like that's kind of lazy. Like, I feel like it would have made sense for, like, I think it would have made sense for, like, those vending machines to be made in Big Mountain, but, like, the fact that, like, Cazadors and Night Stalkers and, like, the Cloud and, like, and those fucking green, and, like, the fucking plant things, like, all that shit comes from fucking Big Mountain. Like, to me, I'm thinking, so Big Mountain is the only reason why there's, like, any biodiversity in the post-apocalypse in New Vegas, like, in the Mojave, like, for real? That's crazy, bro. Like, does that mean that, like, every other place in America is just, like, there's just, like, no diversity because Big Mountain wasn't there? Like, that's what it seems like, because every other fucking Bethesda game has the exact same enemies in it. Thanks, fucking Todd. I mean, every other Bethesda Fallout. Again, thank you, Todd. But, you know, I didn't really like that. I thought that was kind of annoying, kind of lazy. I was like, you guys just can't let anything mysterious happen. Like, I don't know, like, you guys can't come up with other sources besides just Big Mountain did it. I don't know. Anyways, this whole video just went off the rails completely. I started talking about Fallout 4, dude. But I guess I'll just title it, like, talking about New Vegas and Fallout 4, so you guys can't get mad at me for not making any sense. Whatever. Overall, let's talk about Fallout 3 to make it even worse. Fallout 3 is just really boring to me. I find that a lot of the levels are just designed where you just have to walk through them, and then you have to, like, walk back through them, like, once you get to the end. Like, there's no, I find it to be, like, the enemy variety is shit. The weapon variety is so bad. Like, dude, the fact that there's, like, almost no unique weapons, and, like, when they say unique, I don't consider it to be a unique weapon if all they did was just, like, change up the stats and then give it a new name. Like, that's not a unique weapon, bro. Like, if it has the exact same textures as every other weapon, and it just, like, functions slightly better most of the time, that's not a fucking unique weapon, bro. That's so lazy. Like, bro. The character design is kind of shit. Like, the perks in that game are really boring. A lot of them just give you more stat increases, which is basically just leveling up twice. And there's a perk for leveling up twice in New Vegas, and it's one of the worst perks. But, like, half of the perks in Fallout 3 are like that. So, like, I've only done one playthrough of Fallout 3, and it was guns, and I was like, bro, there's no way I could do any other playthrough of that game. Because, like, if there's no variety in the guns, like, if it's just, like, Chinese assault rifle or sniper or combat shotgun, like, the shooting's terrible. They all feel terrible to use. And VATS, I don't like using VATS in Fallout 3. I just don't like engaging with that game. Like, the shooting in Vegas is not great, but there's a lot of weapons in New Vegas, and there's a lot of ways to customize your character too. There's not a lot of ways to customize your character in Fallout 3. Another thing is reactivity. in Fallout 3. Practically non-existent. There's no reactivity to, there's no reaction to like what you do besides 3 Dog. Nothing changes. No one does anything. Like, I remember doing the like Trouble in Big Town quest, and like I didn't even realize it ended because of like, I don't know, like there was like 3 super mutants. I don't know, like it was just like, it felt like nothing happened. Like it feels like nothing, like no matter what you do in that game, it feels like nothing happens. Like you're never, like it feels like you're never rewarded for anything. Like I would get to the end of dungeons and then I would be like, is this it? Like, did I take a wrong turn somewhere? Like, I don't understand. But no, that would be it. And then like, you would just see like regular enemies with regular loot all around you and there's nothing. Like in Fallout 4, the exploration is like very rewarding. You have permanent stat boost through magazines, unlockables with the settlement system and tattoos and shit like that, which I don't engage with, but you know, power armor paint is really cool. You can find some of those. There's always some shit to find in Fallout 4. There's not really anything worth finding in Fallout 3. There's shit worth finding in Fallout New Vegas. Unquestionable. Unique weapons everywhere. And they're all completely different. So they add a sense of flavor to the game. Oh, aesthetic flavor. So good. Fallout 3 fails at this entirely. Once you get one Chinese assault rifle, you have all of them. And that's it. You just found the best game. You can get it at Lucas. You can get it off of Lucas Sims if you murder him, or you just let that one dude kill him for you. And then everyone just like sits there and watches Lucas Sims, the mayor and sheriff, just get domed in the back of the head, and no one does anything about it. And they're all just chilling. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy. That's sick. Anyways, at the end of the day, in my eyes, Fallout 3 is just a shittier version of Fallout 4. It's just a predecessor. Fallout 4 just takes whatever Fallout 3 did and expands on it, which is cool. So while I don't really like Fallout 3, I do like Fallout 4. And New Vegas is pretty good too. But Honest Hearts is kind of shit. Anyways, that was a long ramble. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If we'll see if I do a video on Fallout and MBTI. We'll see. Anyways, if you made it to the end of this, how the fuck? That's crazy. But yeah. Peace. Bye.